It's live.
A very good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome from KR Mangalam University. So first of all, would like to wish a happy Guru Purab to everyone over here. Today, we have an amazing webinar on exploring the future of behavior AI with all of you. So we have along with us Mr. Ankur Dua, an eminent personality from our KR Mangalam family, and also our speaker who is astonished in himself, Mr. Ankur Dua. So as the topic is AI, AI is what? AI is, I guess, artificial intelligence, which everyone knows. So how many of you have ordered food, or how many of you have used Amazon's Alexa, or you can see the Siri Watch or the Fitbit, any such devices like this? I guess most of us, yes. So what is this AI? How are they working? They are all working on artificial intelligence. Yes. So as we all know that AI is artificial intelligence, and it is nothing but in whole or wide range branch of computer science, which is concerned with building smart machines, which are basically capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence. So like we say in layman, with the fleeting understanding of technology, would link it to robots. They would say that AI is what? Terminator. I guess many of us had watched that movie Terminator. So the AI is a Terminator-like figure that can act and think on its own as technologies. So as AI continues to grow, they will be having a great impact on our life. Now, as we are saying that we are using all those Alexa, Siri, Fitbit, and many more such devices, so they are basically covering us from every side. So all these devices work on which? Only one technology, that is artificial intelligence. Now, somehow, how many of us think that how AI can behave as a human, but how can we be so sure that it is continue to behave in that way only and not empowering us completely? So to answer all our queries, to answer all our questions over here, we have Mr. Ankur Dua as a speaker with us in our live webinar. Let me just introduce him first of all. Mr. Dua is working as board of directors in AT&T India. An engineer by profession, he has 20 plus years of experience in telecommunication. And he has been associated with organizations like Orange, Convergys, and AT&T, supporting multinational companies on their network requirements. He is also currently responsible for heading Service Management Group in India, supporting global cities with revenues of more than $10 billion. He is also appointed as AT&T India country ambassador, taking care of overall client experience of the customers and their business in India. He has an extensive experience of working in different countries like New Zealand, Australia, and many such more. He has bagged multiple prestigious awards in the industry and is very well respected as an industry leader. Other than his professional outlook, Mr. Ankur Dua is also a part of various social groups and associated with multiple programs looking after social causes. So now I would like to welcome Mr. Dua once again. And sir, please enlighten us that how, according to your point of view, that how AI is changing and how is behaving over here. Sir, over to you.
Great, great. Thank you so very much, Ms. Jyoti, and for your kind introduction. And thank you so very much, KR Mangalam University, for inviting me again to share my thoughts on a very interesting topic that Ms. Jyoti that you just mentioned, which is artificial intelligence, and specifically what's the future holds for behavior AI. I think, like you mentioned, there is no one who have remained untouched from things which are not injected with some form of artificial intelligence. Or let me rephrase that, I don't think there is anyone who is not touched by artificial intelligence today. If you are surrounded by any of the today's modern technology gadgets, you are well within the range. But to share, specifically what intrigues me about this technology is much more than what it is today, and specifically, about how much AI knows about us versus how much we know about artificial intelligence, and that's what gives me goosebumps. Imagine you are being watched always by someone, and you have no clue about that. Imagine the world knows something about you which you thought is only known by you, and you have no knowledge about it. So, what is in this AI, that we are talking about? What does it do? What is behavior aspect that gets wrapped to it that we are talking about? If this is something that raises curiosity in you, then sit tight for the next 45 minutes and we will try to uncover the mystery around that, especially when you are part of this technology transformation. So, Ms. Jyoti, can you just put up the slides, on the screen, please? Okay, so while Ms. Jyoti puts up the slide, let me just continue to talk about in your daily life, you may have heard about two things very commonly, which is machine learning and artificial intelligence. So let me try my best to demystify this, what it is. And if I go by dictionary, artificial intelligence, by definition, it is the simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems. Whereas machine learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence. And it is broadly defined as the capability of machines to imitate intelligent human behavior, and in simple words, the type of artificial intelligence that enables self-learning capabilities specifically from data, and then applying that learning into something that is needed for human intervention. Now, to make things very simple, AI solves the tasks that human intelligence, while machine learning is a subset of it, and that solves the specific work that is to be done by the data analytics. I'll give you an example that will help you understand that. Think of a self-driving car. It is a car which is driven by itself, and there is nobody on the driver's seat to drive it. And it is all driven by automation. So artificial intelligence is what makes the car drive, but the algorithm which makes the car decide whether to turn left, right, or stop is machine learning. So I hope this analogy gives you a difference between what is artificial intelligence and what is machine learning. And now if somebody meets you in the elevator and talks about these two buzzwords, I hope you will be able to make the difference. Now, there is much, much more towards machine learning and artificial learning. And there is vast domains which you can dive into and do specialization or certifications. But make this as a what makes this subject as very interesting is that it is continuously evolving. The existence of machine learning and artificial intelligence is not new. I think we have been surrounded by machines since many decades now. the change that has been seen in these machines that they are becoming more smarter. So the question that comes that how these machines are becoming smarter, how the artificial intelligence is getting evolved day by day. And of course, they don't become smarter by themselves. It is us, humans, who makes them smarter. So, which brings me to a next slide, which is what Ms. Jyoti is showing on the screen, and that is where I would like to highlight how we can make artificial intelligence more intelligent. The good part about machine learning is that it does the job pretty well for us and what is expected out of us as well. But does that not go beyond what is, but it doesn't go beyond what exactly we have programmed it for. So it is just sticks to the guardrails which we have put across in the programming in that machine. Moreover, that correctness, or I should say the quality of the output it gives is purely dependent on the quality of the input that we give to these machines. So it's basically garbage in and garbage out. Therefore, one way to make the output of the artificial intelligence more reliable would be to ensure that they are not just doing the correct algorithm on the data to ensure that the data itself is being programmed is correct, but also the quality of the data that it is picking up for that calculation is also correct as well. So how do we ensure that this particular quality factor gets met when we are actually talking about the reliability of this machines that are running on artificial intelligence? And we broadly have two options how we can feed these machines with the data. One, we can actually give them the data, and as human we can do the validation of the data and give them the right data to process, and or we can let these machines collect the data by themselves. And in either of these options, if we can ensure that we are maintaining the quality of the data that is being used by these machines, either by feeding them manually or humanly, or giving the or enabling these machines the ability to pick up the data by themselves, which is smart enough to scan the data and is intelligent enough to choose the right data uh, before it makes that decision, it will improve. Just a second, sorry. It will improve the quality of the results that we are getting. And this is what we call it as labeled data. The second aspect of this is putting this machine with a better algorithm or code, which makes the decision making output of the machine more reliable and accurate. Now we have given this machine the quality data. Now we need to enable that machine with the correct coding that will process that data, in such a way that it gives us the best output. So from the time then the language of C++ that has evolved to the latest Scrums and Pythons of the world, it is purely the core evolution principle that has been on this in this journey is how we can make this algorithm and coding more simpler and more faster. The third important factor, if you have given the quality of data to these machines to process, which is good, if you have programmed these machines to be smart enough to process that data in the way you want it, the third parameter of AI to become intelligent is the speed with which they process the data. And this is very important. And let me give you an example what I mean to say why the speed is very important. For those who are actually love Formula One racing, and it will be very interesting for all of you to know that it is just not the driver alone sitting in the car running at 300 kilometers per second who is making the decision during driving the car, which makes him win the race, but it is the entire team of people who are sitting in a central command center who gives the instructions to the driver on what to do, when to do, where to do, which can make him ahead of the race all the time. And these people sitting in the command center could be physically in the same location where the race is happening, or it could be in a different country, or in fact in a different continent as well. So as a Formula One car is loaded with huge amount of sensors, which collects the real-time data from the car, So the people in this command center rely on the output of those sensors processed by the artificial intelligence and machine learning that gets applied to it, and then make their decisions based on those. And you can just imagine, for a car that is being driven at 300 kilometers per second, how fast that data should be collected by the sensors, how fast that data needs to be processed by the artificial intelligence and machine learning that is already set up in the Formula One car, how fast that processed data needs to be sent back to the command center, how fast that people sitting in that command center need to make the decision, and how fast that decision needs to be sent back to the driver sitting in the car who is driving at such a fast speed. So the time from when the AI starts collecting the data, like what is the air pressure in front left tire of the car, with respect to the relevant speed of the opponent, which is closer to my car, versus what is the outside temperature of the road, giving an output that leads to the recommendation on what should be the ideal speed of the car before the next turn comes so that the driver can stay ahead at number one position. You can think we are talking about microseconds here. And that is all possible if we have systems and machines which are capable of doing all this at a lightning speed. Blazing fast scanning of accuracy, processing of data before blink of an eye, and giving us an output which we can closely match to what an intelligent human being would have also done. Therefore, it is utmost important that it's just not the quality of data, which is the label data I spoke about. It's not about the programming that we have actually added to the artificial intelligence or machine to process the data. It's just not the speed of the data, but it also is the interface, the hardware that we actually are putting this capability on that gives us this output at such a rate. So if we have given them the data with the quality, if we have given them the best programming, if we have given them the speed to process the data, and if we have actually given them, the hardware to process that data with that capability, so what is then left to have this AI still behind humans? And that is the human factor. And when I say human factor, what is left in these machines to replace human is one, empathizing with emotions, and second, adjusting according to behavior. So while how we are infusing emotions into machines now is another topic to discuss, but what I can say that it is happening in today's world. And we have some countries where the government have actually built up centers which are actually having robotic animals or robots who are there to actually talk to the humans who are suffering from depression, of loneliness. And the response from these machines are reciprocated with emotions back to the individuals which are very similar as if they are talking to a real human. So whatever I'm saying is actually not a sci-fi story, guys. It is actually what is happening around us today. But as I said, emotional intelligence and emotional empathy is a different subject altogether. But interestingly, what makes human brains very unique is its ability to quickly assess the behavior of others and then adopt and adapt to it. Because making its decision, it's very important considering the behavior and the situation the human brain is in, or whatever best assessment that it can do. So while we have made the decision making factor of faster output doable, we still are behind in making AI intelligent enough where it develops that flexibility to maneuver its decision which are against the standard programmed algorithm but are based on behavior data that it collects. And it might seem very awkward to you that how can a machine think and look at the behaviors of others before it makes the decision, or it makes some changes to the decision which is beyond what they are programmed to do it. And I can tell you that, in some of the used cases, one of the very common thing that you would have seen is smartwatches, for example, the way they actually recommend certain things to you while they measure your blood pressure or your pulse rate. Now, there's another very good case study that has happened in the recent past, that in a supermarket, the company has put cameras behind the rack of the products, which records the parameters like how long a customer stood in front of a product. Once he or she looked at the product, what was the next thing he or she did, whether he or she looked at the price tag or looked at the product itself or whatever. And once he or she has observed the price tag, what was his or her expression on the face or eyes, and the decision that that customer took after looking at that product. Maybe he or she would have walked away or picked up that product, etc. Right? So all this intelligence that I'm talking about is what the machine factors and looks at you as your behaviors, and then processes that data to make the next recommendation or the next step towards giving some output to humans, which you could not have even imagined and a machine can do. So if you can just go back to the next slide, please. Okay, thank you. So we now know that what is AI and how it is becoming smarter. And the ripple effect of that is there are great advantages of them being introduced in our life. The fact is that these AIs make our life simpler and easier. How simple it is now that an application on your phone, and Ms. Jyoti gave an example of ordering a food, suggest you even the options of what you intended to buy without even you started searching for it on the web or on your phone. So with this AI in place, we are exponentially increasing in our efficiency. Example like manufacturing units, where the entire assembly of line of goods is now being worked by robots. And there is no speck of a doubt that these machines are faster in completing the job. And in an industrial environment, speed means productivity, and productivity means money. And when you have environment which operates via machines, the cost optimization can easily be attained. Stability becomes very easy, and it gives more flexibility to the users. Luckily and thankfully, machines don't fall ill and they don't get tired as well, barring some regular wear and tear, of course.
So,
But
sir, actually, sorry to disturb you, interrupt you over here. So, you are saying that now, as the machines had overpowered us, and they are not even falling ill, they have no sick leaves, there are no other their family functions for which they are taking leaves. So that means that all these things are costing on humans. So now there will be less human job basically required. There will be less persons required to do a job, and as robots have already taken place everywhere, so the human jobs will decrease somehow. Is it?
Well, partially not, and thankfully not. And I'll talk about that in just few minutes after I just give you a bit of my, views on, what are the negatives that can happen because of, if, as you mentioned, the machines take over humans, or the way these machines are now intervening in our life, right? So if you can go back to the previous slide, because what you just asked, Ms. Jyoti, was a very valid question, and I'll talk about that in the next slide, where I'll be talking about, should I be scared of what is all happening, right? So, but all said and done, as I was mentioning that, we have robots and we have automation coming in place, and it is very important for these things to be very reliable. And uh, and and imagine that the weightage of reliability is how important in the field of medical science. So, but having said that, Ms. Jyoti, let me ask you a question, right? Do you think robots are really reliable? Do you think that machines are really reliable?
So as we see that, I guess 99.9% they are, but
They are, right.
0.1% is always a scope. Yeah,
Absolutely. So
exactly.
even if I say, Ms. Jyoti, that machines are 99.999% reliable, would you ever opt to be operated by a robot in a medical field?
Sir, if we
Would you
talk
ever
about
would
that,
like to be operated by the robot
no,
when you
if
are
I
in the
talk
operations
this,
theater, God forbid?
if I just being fair, then definitely I would not. I would love to being in the hands of the doctors, the main persons over there, rather than being on the hands of the robots. Because if still human person, they have some values, they have some different mindset, they have the capability to think that how a person is behaving and change according to that criteria. We trust humans more, if I talk about, rather than the machines. But still, at the same point of time, if we talk about after 50 years ahead, then I guess there will be morely robots who will do the surgery part, who will do the main operations and everything, just because they are very precise with everything. So that will be, I guess, not even 50, I guess, are just 20, 30 years ahead. The whole scenario is going to change.
Absolutely, and you are not just you are among a lot of people who probably will not give their life in the hands of robot, and you rightly said I would rather be having a human working with a machine which is smart enough to operate on me rather than having just a machine work on me because of the preciseness and accuracy that you just mentioned. So, so that is the reason why there is a major risk if we are actually giving all in the hands of machines, and it brings a huge risk not just to one or two individual but to the entire human race. And unfortunately, people are not focusing that much on the risks, but they are more enjoying and leisuring the benefits that this technology is bringing along. And one of the negative attributes towards getting into artificial intelligence is privacy factor. Have you ever wondered, and I have given an example earlier, that how a shopping application can give you not just a product, but multiple options of that product, which you have just intended to buy without even you specifically searching for it on the web? The speed of capturing what you are just thinking of and bringing that thought in front of you as a reality will increase a very high probability of you being wanting to get that thing for yourself. An amazing piece of work that these e-commerce target marketing advertisement companies they have actually done, and thanks to the wonderful devices that we carry along with us every time. But the question still remains how they do it. So, if you remember, I shared with you the first aspect of AI getting the data, and one of the way for it to get the data is to get it by itself, and that's where it happens. These devices you are surrounded by are not just waiting for you to use them, but they are constantly and actively waiting to hear and record what you are speaking so that they can scan and feed that information about you to someone who uses that data to make some decisions without even you knowing about it. So basically, you are their product, you are their consumers, and you are their source. But ironically, it is you only who don't know anything about it. Therefore, self privacy gets compromised over here, and unfortunately, there is no robust laws that are put in place which restricts these data collection. What are you doing? Where are you going? Who are you interacting with? What subjects you are interested in? And to the extent what you will do in the future is quite well known about you to these companies, to these data analysis, some way or the other. Now, this may matter to some people, this may not matter to some people, but in the haste of that ignorance, what is happening is we are actually disclosing and giving access to our personal information. Just for example, our IDs, our bank details, our financial details, etc., which we call as sensitive personal information. And this most likely later becomes the cause of the frauds and breaches that happens to us under our name, but not done by us. Now, what if an AI has given an output which is not right? Because it is just a machine, it just works as per the programming that has been done on it. Have you ever seen anyone questioning that? There is very little that gets questioned on how the artificial intelligence have led to that decision, because we are so engrossed in terms of how good that decision is, we give a very little thought that if the decision is not that good, then what is that is causing that decision to go wrong? There is very limited action that has been taken to understand what is the algorithm of AI and machine learning that it uses, and what if we question on the methodology and logic itself that these machines are operating. So there is no or probably lack of accountability on that today. And at the end of the day, it is just a conversion of ones and zeros and IPs that we talk to each other with machines. So if it is a technology, it always has a vulnerability to be hacked, which, if being applied on some mission critical issues, it can cause a devastating results. We have many such examples in our past that has caused very bad results because of technology going wrong. Hence, that is why we should be conscious on how we need to rely on this and how much we need to these artificial intelligence machines to intervene in our life. Everyone likes it, everyone needs it. It makes our life simple and gives us an effortless experience. But the question is, at the expense of what? And last but not the least, these days we have a very strict rules and regulations on the ground how the new technology innovation, especially those overlap with our data privacy, are very delicately executed. I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but there is a very strict, regulation in European Union, which is called General Data Protection Regulation, which actually doesn't allow any organization to carry the data of Europeans to any destination outside of European Union unless one has passed several of the tests and to the satisfactory level. Now, how and who is watching such regulations are being met is a big question. Therefore, adhering to the law of land is critical, but there is still lots of work that needs to be done to have a tighter grip on it. Now, let me come to the question that you asked, Ms. Jyoti, in terms of how or how much I should be scared about it, which is my next slide. Now, if you have some anxiety or fear over artificial intelligence, you are not alone.
So, sir, before we proceed for the scare element, I like to add another element to this. That element is being constantly researched now by the behaviorists. Since, artificial taking care, doing something which the humans do, right? So it is ultimately concerned with the human behavior, which they try to emulate, right? Now, when they emulate our behavior, right, and we interact with them, it is very naturally impacting our behavior. So a new study has come up, and that study is all about this, that how human behavior is impacted positively, negatively. What you mentioned, it is there, but there is another dimension to it, because this cognitive aspect, which the machines have started doing, and human beings are now no more doing, they have to do something else, is another challenge which is coming up. And that is why the AI behavior study has become a topic in itself. Now, second element which you touched upon this was that because you are touching on this, how should I be scared of this? Because many works which we used to do are being done by the machines. So certain jobs which were already in the domain for human beings are no more in their domain now, right? And so many of the works, many of the jobs, basically there is a research by Ernst and Young that maybe 40 to 50% of the jobs which we are doing now would become extinct. They won't be required because they will be done by the machine. So regarding this aspect, the second aspect, which element which brings in that why people are scared is this. So simultaneously, work is being done by the researchers. So today itself, in fact, this is a work done by my friend's son, right? And he sent me a WhatsApp message that what his son has done and how it is impacting. So I like to share that though the things are coming up which are scary, but there are people who are using artificial intelligence itself to remove that scare also. So this is actually in the Princeton University's Center for Information Technology Policy. And they're very excited to announce the launch of Digital Witness Lab. Now see, there's another thing coming up, you know. So this is an innovative research laboratory where engineers, will design softwares and hardware tools to track the inner workings of the social media, right? And help journalists expose how they exploit the user's privacy and aid in the spread of misinformation and injustices globally. Now, what they have done is, how the things have taken shape is like this, that they had a tool called STAT, right? And this is a tracking tool which is installed on many of the hospitals' websites, right? Because these hospitals had been using the sensitive information regarding the patients, like which doctor you got into touch, what is your condition like, what kind of sickness you have. And they were sharing this information. The 100 top hospitals information of the world was going to Facebook, right? And the Facebook was using this information for their own commercial purposes, right? So on the one hand, this is happening. On the another hand, there are people who are using artificial intelligence only to track how this artificial intelligence is being misused. So I was very much fascinated by this news. I thought that before you share, should we be scared? So there is an element to it. The challenges are emerging by virtue of misuse of artificial intelligence, but simultaneously, new things are being developed using AI to challenge those challenges or to overcome those challenges. So now, sir, over to you. This was something new which came in the morning itself. I thought that it would be good for the audience sake to share this, that though it is scary, but yet it is not so scary.
Right. And yeah, thank you, Dr. Shok. And, this is what makes things very interesting because, as I said in the beginning, it is very evolving, and interestingly, the problems which are coming from AI, we are using AI only to resolve those problems. So that's where all those dimensions that you just mentioned are being explored, because if we would not been exposed to the problems, then probably we would not have been working to find the solutions and taking the best capability of AIs as well. So, and as I was saying that, if you are having some anxiety and fear about artificial intelligence, so you are not alone, right? But the positive side is you should remember that the behavior of an AI machine doesn't depend on its own intellect, thankfully. Instead, it depends upon the creator and the information those creators want them to learn, which is all of us, which is all of the humans. And there isn't a point in between. So, artificial intelligence is one of the most fundamental transformative technology that we have ever seen in the history of mankind. And if AI is so transformative, then unfortunately it has a power to be transformative both for good and bad. So, however, the fear of unknown is always been the case with the technology. You name a technology that have come very new, and you tell me a scenario where you were never scared of that. This fear of AI spans across various causes, and few of them I'll just name it. For example, general anxiety about the machine intelligence. Ms. Jyoti, you mentioned about the fear of mass unemployment, you know, concerns about super intelligence that might come into the world. And for example, and if that happens, putting the power of AI into wrong people's hand, and a general concern and conscious when it comes to newer technology. So I see that the fear is generally surrounded by the unknown aspect of the AI systems, which are becoming more intelligent, and human intelligence in surrounding these systems is increasing. These two uncommon, you know, things that we are talking about really give us a clear direction on where things could go. And I'll talk about one of the major fears, which again links to what Ms. Jyoti you asked about mass unemployment of human workers due to the replacement of AI with the AI machines, or should I call it an AI worker? Uh, I recollect that when the previous wave of automation that happened in the past, the the people who got impacted by that layer the most were the blue collar job workers, like in the manufacturing world, you know, like the robots took over the production line and automation. But in this new wave of artificial intelligence, it is mostly the white collar service oriented jobs that are based around knowledge workers that will bear the burnt of intelligence of this automation. And they are bearing, by the way. So, as per Forbes, which is one of the leading market analysts, the technology is in place today that can replace 80% of these jobs that can be done by machines and that are smart enough. So, really, it already exists. But where the silver lining is that in these systems, that these machines aren't to the point where they can be reliably be replaced by human jobs. So, in general, the technology wave disrupts industries and workers. They replace the job categories, but they don't overall replace the job. So, I repeat, they replace the job categories, but they do not overall replace the jobs. So, like Dr. Ashok mentioned, that the overall jobs, new jobs continue to grow, which requires new skills, new mindset, new thought process. While what these machines are simply replacing are the old ways of doing things. Today, the industries are not completely throwing away things that have been working from them very well. So, to answer your question, Ms. Jyoti, I would say my perspective is AI isn't a job killer, but it is a job category killer. So if you are not evolving, if you are not becoming smarter than these smarter machines that we have today, which are built by humans only, quite likely you might be overdone by them. Okay. And that brings me to the last slide and the last question that you may have in your mind, that what can I do with all this that is happening around me? Or how can I prepare myself better to actually take the most of this newer technology? And also, if I need to choose AI as my career in this field. So, my few suggestions would be, to begin with, be aware and up to date with the newer technology. Now, it's very difficult with the speed of things that are getting innovated to be updated with everything and anything, but still be curious. Always be on the lookout of what is happening in the outside world. Explore and read of what is happening in the field of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Two, use it whatever is possible and wherever it is possible. Be part of the experience of this new advanced technology that it brings in. Because only when you will use it, then only you will be able to know what is missing. Thankfully, our millennial generation and Generation Z, population don't need to learn the skill set on how to use the basic computers, as I guess they are born with it. So I strongly recommend all the students to try to think and find the logic which could be applied behind the AI, which could be allowing it to bring to you the outcome that you desire. Please push yourself to think out of the box. The idea that Dr. Ashok just mentioned about his friend's son is doing, it's a completely out of the box idea that somebody would have thought and gone out to see how the logic and what the problems and what the solutions that these machines are bringing in. Gone are those days where we need to work in a guarded environment. Now we have the ability, the capability, and the technology which can help us do that. Data is the new oil, so the opportunities are endless. You can see from n number of examples that I gave in my session today, there is no dearth of what you can do with this data. So explore careers in the field, say, for example, data scientist, target marketing, business intelligence developer, machine learning engineer, research scientist, just to name a few. And lastly, I would leave you with something very encouraging, which I read recently in a magazine called Venture Beat, and it was published as recently as 28th of October only. And it's very interesting that when they did the survey in the two largest economies in the world, which is India and US, they found that 18% of US workers were not sure if their business uses AI, compared to 2% of Indian workers who were not sure. What does this indicate? That we in India are much more aware of our environment being impacted by artificial intelligence. They also mentioned that 78% of the junior staff in India expect AI to have a positive impact on the workers compared to 47% of those in the United States, which shows that we understand the benefit of AI more deeply. And interestingly, while US was an early leader of artificial intelligence with 28%, and I'm talking about 6-7 years back, with 28% of the US business adopting technology, compared to 20-25% was being adopted in India versus 20% in UK. What they found that India is now a very mature market with respect to leveraging AI, and it is scoring 64% of the adoptability, while US charters at 52% of the entire survey that they did, from the leveraging of the AI perspective that I'm talking about. So I truly believe, guys, that there is a huge scope in this technology, in this field, and we are just touching the tip of the iceberg right now. But what I finally also state that we need to be conscious because the slope of this iceberg is quite slippery as well. So we need to watch what we are getting into, and we need to make sure that we are actually driving the technology rather than being driven by the technology. So the future of AI is extremely positive. If you are thinking of keeping it as your career, I really recommend you to go for it because, as I said, it's a complete evolving thing, and and we are seeing the benefit that it brings to the humankind. And with the high performance technologies that are clubbed with it, it is becoming increasingly important in the recent years. And a ubiquitous computing, including Internet of Things, if you may have heard of that, artificial intelligence jobs are booming right now. So I wish you all the best, and in fact, all of us all the best that these technological advancement positively and sincerely impact us positively to the human race. And with that, I would like to hand over to Dr. Ashok to share his views on how academically, you can gain an edge if you are thinking of evolving a career in artificial intelligence, specifically behavior artificial intelligence, and what is the role that universities have to play in that. So, Dr. Ashok, I'll hand it over to you for now.
Sir, we are actually seriously thinking that, as is clear from the talk we just had, that India is in fact a leading country now. Now, once we say India means basically who all are in that foray, right? Mostly it is the youngsters. Okay, sir mentioned of the generation millennium and generation Z, right? Okay, so as a student, what exactly do I need? Okay, I may earn a degree in computer science, which is, or mathematics, which are the basic things required to apply AI, right? What else I need? First and foremost thing which is required is my own, motivational level. Because right now, if you see the universities, some of the universities have degrees, right? Since it is an evolving field, so curriculum is not fixed. They are also evolving their curriculum, right? So some are giving you knowledge in terms of, in terms of Java, in terms of algorithms, in terms of machine learning, and so on and so forth. Some universities have this much only. Whereas some universities have, specified degree courses which have a regular curriculum, and which is being dealt by the professionals. So my point is this, that when you enter into a university, suppose you are taking computer science as your, you want to become a computer science engineer. Now, let me tell you very clearly that you may join as a computer science engineers, and that too after a lot of rigor, competition is there, right? But your understanding, your knowledge, your skills, whatever you acquire over here, are going to get outdated in few years itself. You'll become redundant with, right? So what is really required is, don't wait for others to teach you. As Dr. Dua said, right? You be the proactive person and start acquiring necessary knowledge regarding artificial intelligence. So that is the first thing I would say. Don't have a wait-on spirit and think that the universities will roll down and offer you something. There are very few universities which are progressive in their nature and who have tried, to bring in certain papers on artificial intelligence, right? So to mention, as far as KR Mangalam is concerned, we have entered into collaboration with the universities, with the industry itself, right? So when we have entered into collaboration, in fact, Jyoti ma'am is from that very department itself, right?
Right,
So
sir.
Jyoti ma'am, why don't you share that? What is our collaboration,
Definitely,
especially
sir.
for the engineering students?
Surely, sir. First of all, I would like to thank you so much, Ankur Dua, sir, for just giving us such a wonderful talk, for explaining this all topic in such a big depth over for our students. And you are absolutely right that we are not just killing the human jobs, it is just a category which is changing, and it is the scenario which is turning around. So thank you, sir. Thank you for taking out your time over here. So now I would like to share that how our university is playing a part over here and how things are going around in our university. So let me just take you around through the university. It's a KR Mangalam University. So
Kiran,
as
Jyoti ma'am, we will later.
sir, you are on mute, Ashok sir. Kindly unmute.
I would love that we will, of course, do at length over there university presentation. But I would love you to focus primarily now engineering students, how they are at advantage in our university,
This
and
is
which organizations we have collaboration and why we have entered into that collaboration, right? Okay.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is I'm showing the C as you can see over here in only in the engineering and technologies. If we talk that we are with the artificial intelligence, then we have BTech and CSC with AI and ML. So this is in collaboration with Symmetrics and IBM. So we have tie-ups with those companies. Their experienced professionals used to come in our university. They take lectures, they provide labs, they basically engage students in all the those behaviors, basically how their universities, how their industries are working, and they are teaching us to students that how they can work over here. So in this whole scenario we are having different companies which are joining with us. We have the collaboration with the ZBR, we're having the collaboration with the Imagine XP, and as I told you, the IBM and Metrics, the more. And not for the engineering students, we are also providing the degree to the BCA students as well. So BCA students also can do a specialization in AI in our university. So that as you can see, the BCA with specialization in AI and data science with academic support of Symmetrics and IBM. Their professional came over here, they give us the lectures, labs, and that too not only one day in a week. They are coming here for 3 to 4 days, and they are not taking just one course. They are teaching around 14 to 15 courses throughout their complete course, throughout the complete degree. So that's how they are indulging with us and how they are helping us to prepare our students in a better way, so that when they go out in the market, they can have a different.
I like to really specify what exactly these our collaborators are doing with us, right? So, friends, as I said in the beginning also, that as far as your thing is concerned, that suppose you are from a maths and science background, so very naturally you will have an understanding of your linear algebra, differential and integral calculus, matrices, linear transactions, transformations, integration, approximation, regression, probability theory, etc., etc. And when you do computer science, bachelor's, so very naturally you are well aware of computer systems in programming. You are well aware of the principles of, imperative computation, principles of functional programming. Okay. You are aware of the data science essentials. You are aware of parallel and sequential data structures and algorithms, right? And algorithms are the backbone, as you know, of AI. So when we do all those things as basics, what do AI bring in? So we bring AI core subjects like we talk about machine learning, we talk about deep learning, and we talk about reinforcement learning. So Dr. Dua was very specifically, he mentioned of one field with us, machine learning, how machine learning is a subset of that. So we, apart from machine learning, will give you in-depth understanding and knowledge of deep learning and reinforcement learning, because ultimately behavior is all concerned with that, right? So then we also give you detailed information under AI about information theory, about inference and the learning algorithms. Right, because without that, suppose you are working on conversational, those, so that you can understand the conversation from the facial expression, you can collect the data and then draw information. So we talk about the neural networks and for machine learning as well. We are also giving you inputs regarding AI's representation and problem solving, because ultimately what is really required is that there is an issue and you solve a problem, right? So then is we give you idea about natural language processing, and we talk about computer vision and image analysis. These are some of the core subject elements which we give you, which we teach you under our AI program. Now, as far as our AI program is there, it is not confined only to engineering, because I purposely use that experience of, my son. And you see, he is basically a digital engineer, right? Okay. Now, from there, he learned about journalism. So there is another specialization. And he's carrying out how to be a good journalist in the field of data. So a new field is emerging, like certain categories are dying, but certain new categories are emerging. Now, as far as AI is concerned, it has impact, right? Not only into certain areas which particularly, Mr. Dua referred off, was the racing which we love, car race. But he said very clearly that there is no area which is left untouched, right? Now, as far as AI is concerned, it is touching cybersecurity, it is touching the retail sector, it is touching the construction sector, it is touching your supply chain management, it is touching business intelligence, it is touching information technology, it is touching education, transportation, manufacturing, healthcare. So if you are a biology student, right, and you are into the field of medicine, then our engineering and AI understanding help you to be a better doctor, right? A doctor who can excel others as far as who are without AI. So here what we are giving you is a choice. Even if you joined any of our disciplines, we give you a choice that you can study one of the papers as artificial intelligence itself. And after that, you can be a pioneer to be like my friend's son is a pioneer journalist in over here. You can be a pioneer in the area, the core area you choose. So the advantages which we are talking about very clearly is from the progressive universities is that we are giving you additional tools so that you are ready for the future. Then another aspect, Mr. Ayub is one from the Microsoft who's heading the AI unit. He talks very clearly that as far as AI is concerned, it is, it's not going to, what you call, fade away in future. So it is perennial in nature, means it is going to remain. So if you want to be in the workforce, it's very important that you equip yourself, right, with these kind of skills so that you are relevant as far as the future job scenario is concerned. So this is all what we do as far as the KR Mangalam University is concerned in the field of artificial intelligence. And this is how we have an edge over other universities, because we are a progressive university and we are keeping pace with the future needs of the industry. As the needs are evolving, we are constantly evolving our own curriculum. And what exactly we are doing in other fields and all, now I'll request Ms. Jyoti Kataria to share with us the university presentation.
Thank you so much, Ashok sir. No one can explain better than this to you except you. So, students, just not even students, you are just a buddies now over there. So let me just take you around the Mangalam University. So this is how our campus looks like. And if we talk about this campus, as you can see, there's around the whole surroundings, there are lush green surroundings around the campus. We have 3 blocks, and then on the side there is the hostel block, which is different. So if we say that we are spread, yes, we are spread around 26 acres of campus we are having, in which we are teaching our students, and more than 150 plus faculties are present, and the number is increasing day by day, as well as around more than 3,000 students are there. We are having not just 11, now it's become 13 schools which are present in the university. The campus is on the Sona Road, and the beautiful aesthetic and lush green campus. If we talk about the different departments, then there are the various departments which are present. Like we see the engineering and technology. In engineering and technology, there we are offering BTech in computer science. In BTech in computer science, so in engineering over there, BTech in computers and electrical engineering. Then, as sir told you, that there is the artificial intelligence. So BTech in CSC with AI and ML. That is the artificial intelligence and machine learning in collaboration with Symmetrics and IBM. We have also started the BTech in computer science and engineering with in cloud computing. That is also with the support of the CBR. BTech in computer science with specialization in full stack development. This is also a new course which we have started because by seeing the growth in the market, our university started this course, and this is also in collaboration with CBR. There is one more, the new addition to our engineering department, that is the BTech in CSC with specialization in UX UI, and that is in association with the ImageXP. Apart from BTech, also we are also providing the BCA and the BSc courses and the MTech and MCA courses as well. If we talk about the management in commerce, then we are offering BBA, that is in HR, marketing, finance, international business, travel and tourism. Then the BCom, and the BCom with the preparation of the competitive exams, because we know that this is the thing which students need. They want to prepare for their government job, so we are providing that guidance for that as well. We are also offering the integrated BBA plus MBA, that is also with the academic support of the IBM. MBA also with the academic support of the IBM and the MCOM degree as well. We are also offering the basics and applied sciences courses, that is the BSc honors, the BSc honors in forensic science, then the MSc honors as well. In medical and allied sciences, we are having the B Pharma, D Pharma, Bachelor of Physiotherapy, and the Master of Pharmacy. For the agricultural sciences, we are offering BSc honors in agriculture. If we talk about the architecture and design, yes, we have that course as well in our university. There is the Bachelor of Architecture, Bachelor of Design, Bachelor of Interior Design, BSc honors in Interior Designing, BA in Fashion Designing, Bachelor of Designing in Game Design and Animation. This is also in collaboration with the ImageXP. We are also offering the professional diploma in interior designing. Let's not leave the legal studies over here because we are also offering the BBA LLB honors, BCom LLB honors, BLLB honors, LLB honors, and LLL courses. If we talk about the journal and mass communication, then we have BA and MA in journal and mass communication as well. If we talk about the humanities, then BA honors for the political science with the preparation of the competitive exam, then MA English, MA Economics, MA Applied Psychology, the various courses are offered. If we talk for the education sector, then the Bachelor of Elementary Education, Bachelor of Education, and MA in Education is also available. Let's discuss about the hotel management and catering and technology. Then over here also we are providing the Bachelor of Hotel Management in Catering Technology. And at the topmost, we are providing the PhD in all the disciplines in our university. We are having collaboration with various companies, with various organizations like IBM, Symmetrics, Siemens, LinkedIn, NSC, Dainik Bhaskar, the new collaborations with the ZBR, and the different sectors. So we have collaborated with many industries so that we can give you a very insightful knowledge. In KR Mangalam University, there is something that is very important, that is our E-Yantra Robotics Lab. Actually, this is our tie-up, or you can say the lab has been set up by the IIT Mumbai. So in collaboration with the IIT Mumbai, we set up this lab in our campus, in our university, so that students can work on different robots, on different projects over here by taking the guidance from those persons who are with IIT Mumbai. So they provide you the insight, or you can say the depth knowledge that how the projects work and then how the system works. They will teach you, they will guide you to create your own projects. They will help you to solve the queries with them. We are also having you can see the collaboration with the very distinguished professors, not only from the India, but from the throughout the world, you can say. They will give you the lectures, they will help you to do your task, they will guide you that how to move further, and they will tell you that how things are changing around the world. So we are having collaborations with many professors from the world. In KR Mangalam University, there is a different thing which I guess you will not be able to see in other university, and that is the starting of the Smart Ashram. The Smart Ashram, in this, we are basically binding two things together. That is the technology and as well as our culture, you can say the integrity of India in a one piece. So over here, we are combining both things together. And when you just visit the campus, you can see it's over there. In KR Mangalam, we are basically working toward various aspects. It's not just our industry that we are having collaborations, or we are giving you those professors who will just come and teach you. But in respect of all these things, there will be different programs which will be running. For example, we are having one of these mentor-mentee programs. In this program, what we are doing is that we are for every student, we'll be allocating a faculty. That faculty will be over here with you and they will talk to you about every aspect. If you have some problem with your studies, with the curriculum, if you have some issue, if you want to discuss something with her, either it's with only about your course or about your campus life. So they are there to help you. They will help you with every sort of manner, whatever the issues you are facing, they will help you with that. And they will try to take out a way among those things that how they can solve them. We are also thoroughly connected with the community, that we are doing those, as you can see in the picture, that we are the blood donation camp, which was established over there. So a very short period of time, we used to establish all these type of camps over there. Just now, as the winters are coming, so we have started the drive that is to donate winter clothes if you want to do that. So we are also connected with our community. We are not just doing studies. Apart from studies, we are also thinking that how our society needs us and how we can contribute over there. There are various clubs and societies in the KR Mangalam, so students can come and join there. They are not just little with the technology, but with for example, the NSS club is there, the entrepreneurship club is there, then the investment club is there, and the various many more. So student can choose which clubs interest him the more, which club he finds that is more suitable according to his choice. Then he can opt for that and he can just go ahead and do certain activities over there. As you can see that we are having tie-ups with various universities, the ESCS, the tennis, then the Middle East University London, the University of Melbourne, University of Florida. Over here, we do the student exchange program as well. That the students from those universities come and visit over here. We share a talk, we share some seminars, we share some projects with them. Then the students from our university also goes to the other universities in the abroad, and then they share our culture, our technology, our project ideas with them and work along with those professors. These are just a few testimonials of few students over here who have succeeded very well and who did very well, just like Anand Abhinav. He was a student of the BTech CSC and he secured a package of 24 lakh. Then there is one more, Dipanshu Chaudhary. He was from the MBA batch and he is doing very well in the foreign universities and in the foreign country. Then there is Zurain. He was from the B architecture. So as you can see that these students are not only from one stream, they are from the different streams. One is from BTech CSC, one is from MPA, one is from the architecture department. Again, one is from the administration department. So students from all these sectors are performing very well throughout the world, who have did their graduation or post graduation from our university. Because this thing which students thinks more that how will I get placed or how much package will come up to me. So it totally depends that how well you are performing. We are there to guide you. We are there to tell you that how to move further. But then it's you. If you have a spark inside you, then you can also succeed in a better way. So I told you that the placement is the most lucrative part, which students always think about. So yes, we have placed more than 600 students over till now. That the 600 plus offers has been already made. 90% of the students have been placed. The 10% is just that who some of the students want to do the post graduation, or some of the students want to start their own business. They want to become the entrepreneurs. So they have not opted for this job, but yes, they are also succeeded well. So the highest package which a student passed was the 24 lakh per annum. And a few of the top recruiters were the HCL, CPA Global, India Bulls, OYO, Outlook, then the Beam Singh, Genpact, PTM. Means you can just name a company and it's there. In our campus, mostly all of the companies have come over there. More than 600 recruiters come over there and they passed so many students from our university. The admission process is quite simple. You can just meet with the admission officer. You can just apply. You can through the application form. You register with us, appear for an admission test, and then for a personal interview. This is not but just an interaction round so that we can see that what a student actually wants from us. So we are also doing the counseling at the same time. We are also guiding them that which course is better for them. So this is just an interaction process. You can apply, and then if you are choosing our university, you can just pay the fees and you can join our university. If you're talking about the fee sector, then as you can see, we have shown a script that how, if you compare it from the other universities, then our university is, you can see, is charging very less. Means the fee structure is very nominal, it's very optimal path as comparatively to the other universities. We are also offering scholarship to different sectors on different areas. If the student is you can say that I have secured more than 90%. If a student is a sibling of other student, if a student is from the sports quota, if a student from the personal defense area over there, or if he's from the Mangalam schools. So we are providing different scholarships and a very good one scholarship to all our students. So if you have any queries, you would like to connect with us, then you can just call on the phone number 011 488 4888. This is our email website. You can also drop an email to us. You can visit our campus anytime. You can come and see that how it looks around and how things are working over there. And then you can decide by yourself. So thank you so much for having a beautiful and wonderful webinar with us and joining us over here. Thank you so much, everyone over there. Thank you, Ashok sir, for your guidance. Thank you for being there, sir.
Everybody, I would say thank you, everybody, especially to those who have joined us on holiday. Today is a holiday, and I see
Exactly.
the attendees over here. And my special thanks to my faculty also who has joined us on holiday. Who's that?
Thank
So
you,
that
sir.
shows very clearly for us, there are no holidays. We are always for the students, right?
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
24/7, 24/7, we are only thinking of students and working very hard to ensure, as per our motto of the university, empowering youth, empowering the nation. So my special thanks to my technical team also, who work actually very hard to reach out to the prospective attendees as well as to help us technically, right? And to ensure the follow-up also, right? And my special thanks to Kiran ma'am for coordinating the entire event. And I think it will be unfair on my part if I do not thank Mr. Dua, who had been such an enlightening talk he gave us about artificial intelligence. So I'm sure that you have a fair idea about artificial intelligence and how do we prepare you in this field, right? So feel free to visit our campus and see by your own eyes, because I think listening is one thing and seeing by your own eyes is another thing. So come, visit us, see our labs, right? See whether our claims are bona fide or not. You have a word with our students, visit our labs, visit our infrastructure, visit our campus, see the rich libraries, and then decide. Still you have any query, we give you a chance to interact with our heads, deans, faculty, students, right? Not only that, you can even participate in some of the activities which are going on in the university. So thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am, for taking us through today. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So Tahir sir, Mr. Tahir, yes. Is he around?